So we're joined from Brandon by my friend Stephanie McMechan. Make sure I said the name right. We thank you so much for joining us, the owner of the Gilded Hanger. Been a hustler for a long time, graduate of Alcorn State University. We thank you so much for joining us. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High School. This is for our entrepreneurship class, and we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County schools, Madison Central, Germantown High School, Ridgeland High School, the Academic Option Center, and our YouTube channel. So thank you for taking some time out of your schedule for us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, we obviously want to talk about all of your many business ventures. We want to talk about the Gilded Hanger, which you've had for a few months now. But just give us a little background. You're from Vicksburg, went to Warren Central High School, and you went to Alcorn State and got a degree that has nothing to do with what you're doing now.
Exactly, Greg. Yes. Well, basically, you got everything. That's my bio, pretty much, or at least the beginnings of it. I am an Alcornite. I graduated from Alcorn State University in 1998 with a degree in English literature and a minor in French.
Wow.
I grew up in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and the interesting part is that my father was an entrepreneur, so I had the chance to grow up seeing him in action doing what he loved, which was actually he ran a neighborhood convenience store. So we can
Oh,
delve
cool.
into that a little later because I'm sure it might come up. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, but Warren Central High School loved my high school tenure. I had some amazing professors, amazing teachers who really appreciated their students. I was big on music. That was my heart, music, choir, band. I was a band geek, played saxophone, marched a lot of hot, marched in a lot of hot and cold conditions. I was a trooper. You have to be in
Oh,
order
big
to be a
time, especially
band.
back in those days before we got all the water breaks.
Yes, yes. You had to be careful. You could pass out
Now,
right there on the green.
uh, big time. Now, you talked about before we started recording, your original goal was to be, and you're still right, but you wanted to be a blogger. You wanted to have a lifestyle music blog, and you still write. I've looked at some of your stuff. You're an unbelievable writer too, by the way.
Oh,
But
thank you.
you've always been had that entrepreneurial spirit. It just recently went the direction it's gone now. So just talk about all the things that you did to be an entrepreneur in so many aspects of your life for so long.
Yes. Well, when I started the journey of entrepreneurship, it was basically being when you look at life, we are on these different phases, and I was an apprentice essentially to my dad. When you're a kid and you're growing up with a father who had one, he was a lot older when I was born. I was born when he was 51 years old.
Wow.
So yeah, so I was the baby of the family, and when you're the baby of the family, you get that great opportunity to just follow your parent wherever they go. You're like the little chick, just kind of going along, as close as you can because they get the chance to really show you what they've worked a long time on. My dad was an educator originally. He was an educator. He was a principal, an administrator, a history
Oh, wow.
teacher, the bus driver. And if you can kind of get in the mode of I've done all these things, and plus I'm always there for my school in every facet they need me in, and whether it's an educator or just on the sideline. He also was a coach. He
Cool.
coached. Yeah, he coached basketball for the girls. So I saw my dad was industrious. He was a go getter, and he was always so busy. But when I came along, he was getting ready to slow it down, retire. And he was an apprentice. He worked as a butcher in someone's store. And he loved this guy so much. He admired him, and he gave us time to learn the craft. My dad had spent some time in New York, and he ran a business with his brother, and they were in business together, my uncle and my dad. So he had some experience, and so he brought that in with his teacher, the store
That's
owner.
awesome.
Yeah, it is. And so when he died, when the original proprietor passed away, my father was in a unique situation where he could lease, he could he could buy out the remainder of the lease and
Wow.
keep it going. The guy's name was Frank. My dad's name was Frank.
That's cool. Now,
Serendipitous.
obviously, yeah, obviously, you learn from your family, and you've dealt with a lot of the eBay and a lot of the Poshmark, all the platforms that were set up for you. But you recently opened the Gilded Hanger, which is a woman's boutique. So just talk a little bit
Yes.
about that, and we've looked at the website and seen some of the things you sell. But just talk about how that was born and kind of the way you run it.
Okay. Well, basically, like Mr. Pygott said, I started out with eBay in the almost infancy of eBay, being an
Oh yeah,
eBayer. And with that, you learn hands-on, in particular on the the e-commerce channel, how to handle your customers. You learn how to make everything from do everything from your photos, images, your descriptions of your product,
wow.
how to make sure that you're being as clear as possible about what you sell, so that no one believes that you are dishonest about what you sell, and your integrity matters no matter what you're doing, no matter what business you want to run. You have to have integrity. So your product and the way that you sell it. If you're starting out and you really don't have a lot of cash, with lots of the cash strapped, eBay is a great way to do it. And
Yeah.
so what I found that was helpful is that you gain an eye for things. You gain an eye for it, whether it's fashion or pre-owned items, whether it's shoes, whether it's accessories. You begin to know what the market's like. And then you compare yourself with the market and see where your pricing needs to be. And so you place your price and you go for it. And usually there's an auction, and you just watch people bid up, bid up, bid up. And then there's the lucky winner. There they go. They won your item. And so it only really starts there. It starts there. I mean, the item was on sale. You put it up. You gave it a platform, but the beginning of the relationship starts at the sale.
Absolutely, and I want to talk more about that relationship. But just talk about the things that you do sell and how you decide what to sell. Because I know you sell to women, so some of the young ladies are here like, oh, that's cute. So how do you decide? How do you determine what you're going to sell, and what to carry on your website and what to feature?
Yes. Well, and forgive my dog Quinn. You might hear him with an outburst every now and then. He thinks he's very big, but he's just a small Chihuahua mix who's got more bark than bite. He's my guardian. He's my guard. He's my buddy. Okay. So basically, I run the gildedhanger.com. It is an e-commerce site, a women's boutique, and I started this venture in January of 2025. It was born of a need to begin something, and I say that because I've been a blogger and a lifestyle writer for a while, since 2012. And I enjoyed that very much. And I have had a client ever since the pandemic. And I love my content. I do fragrance brand content. I write about scents and notes and all that beautiful stuff that makes a fragrance and gives it the context. But somewhere in me, there was still that need to be a retailer, that need to be an entrepreneur. Not that whatever you do and you do on your own, you're an entrepreneur. If you are freelancing, you're an entrepreneur. If
Absolutely.
you are creating something, if you're a maker, you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That's who you are. You're the starting seeds of it, the buds that are going to make the blossoms that are going to flourish are already there. It's your creativity, your curiosity, your need to own something, you need to make something, and you're not doing it for someone on the clock. On the clock, where you starting out at 8 o'clock and ending at 4, and you get something in the mail from the government, which is a W-2. If you don't get any of those, you're an entrepreneur.
There
I'll just
you
go
go.
ahead and put that out there.
Yeah,
You are an
and
entrepreneur.
I would agree. Any 1099 employee is an entrepreneur to a great extent. I think you
Yes.
can definitely make that argument. I agree.
So what
Um,
I would say about
oh, go ahead.
the Gilded Hanger is this. I started in January, and I needed to start something in retail. I felt that, well, I hadn't really given it a go in terms of starting my own website. I've been giving so much time to eBay, Poshmark, and the things you need to do to cultivate a following, because you still need a following over on those apps. People follow you on Poshmark, they follow your closet, and they become fans of it, and they might go in every once in a while to check to see what you have. But there's something about giving a certain percentage to another company that makes you take pause, Greg. That's like, if I could only retain this 15% for me,
There you
what would
go.
happen? So it's born out of that. The need to see, well, can you do it on your own? The same that you've done here on mass market channels.
There you go. Now, one thing that I always like talking about, especially with people in retail, is I've had so many young people come through this class, and they'll start a business, even if it's a side hustle, and I'll see they'll start posting their prices, and I'll immediately tell them, "You're not charging enough." I think that is a very big challenge for a lot of young entrepreneurs because they're thinking like a high school student. They're thinking, I'm 16, 17 years old. Here's what I can afford. Well, do you want to sell what you can afford, or do you want to sell what somebody that's 30 years old can afford? So, talk about how you do that because I think that's a very major mistake that a lot of young business owners make.
Yes, that is a great topic. And I would tell your class and anyone else who's watching, don't be afraid to price up. Don't be afraid to price up. Your merchandise has quality, it has value. Um, Despite the fact that you might be thinking with your wallet, they say you're not supposed to think with your wallet. And the they say maybe, a little, maybe a gray area, like a nebulous. Who are the they? But the they people, the people who came up with the concept, more than likely are those who have tried it and see that I may have shortchanged myself, because if you keep the price at a low margin, your profit margin is low, low, low. So consider what you purchased that item for, whatever it may have been, whether you found it in the wholesale, whether you found it through a vendor, a supplier, and you happen to purchase X amount of quantity. Well, then you're trying to sort out your profit margin at the very beginning of your side hustle, whether you're selling it at a fair, a trade show, a festival, whether you just purchased a table as a vendor, whether you're just going on Facebook Live, Facebook Marketplace. Don't devalue your items. You are given a certain amount of leeway in terms of profit margin. And it's going to take you really navigating, what am I looking for in my venture? What do I want? Do I just want enough money just to do a little something on the weekend? Doing something on the weekend, fun, stuff the teenagers do and young people. Older people sometimes fun, but different fun, but fun. But when you think about how much money you want and what you want your profit margin to be, really contemplate. My item cost me $10. I'm not selling it for 12.
There you go.
I can't. What are you going to do with the $2?
Yeah, and it's
That's
the
just
same
this
thing
is
if you
not
have a
enough.
service. It's the same thing if you have a service. We have another friend in this class who was a wedding photographer, and when he first started out, he was just trying to be the cheapest. And he said he would do 3 and 4 weddings on a Saturday, be absolutely dog tired, and he was like, "I'm not charging enough." And then when he tripled his prices, he was just doing one, did a really good job of it, and you can justify having the higher price. If you can provide a better service and a better experience, people are willing to pay more for that. Which leads me into what I want to
Absolutely.
talk about next because you mentioned relationships. Because being able to, at the end of the day, it's all about customer service. Being able to speak to customers, being able to deal with customers, being able to sell yourself, sell your product. And when we get done in a little while, we're going to pick our next profiles. They have to be able to get up and speak about an entrepreneur and talk about it, and it's to get them used to speaking. Now, I'm not saying you got to be a public speaker, but in order to be successful in business, you've got to be able to communicate. So, especially someone like you, where it's just you and nobody else, how important are those communication skills if you want to be successful in business?
You definitely need to be a communicator. I mean, the first step in that sales process is having the ability to tell people about your brand. Tell them about your brand, because many people will ask you, what do you do? What do you do? What do you sell? What do you make? What do you do in terms of your business person? What am I? And really, that's going to necessitate you knowing how how I how do I get about my business in the world? How do I tell them about myself? I mean, one day it's going to come down to you talking to someone who might want to invest, who might
Yeah,
want to give you some money in order to become larger. So your story matters, where you came from, what you've done, small things, large things, what you've achieved. And if you don't really feel like you've achieved much, trust me, you probably are not looking at everything that you've done in the totality. It's not what you think that you have achieved with your business. It's that you even tried in the very beginning to create a business. So don't short sell yourself. If you
absolutely.
started
Because
something,
yeah,
believe in yourself enough to have the ability to talk about your business. Believe that it's special. I don't care if they're like 100 just like you. Be the 101st that stands out,
there you go.
and have a story to tell. I mean, look back at, well, you're young. You're young, so right now maybe the time that you're building your story. Think about what you've achieved in high school, what you're going through, anything that you may find is your personal messaging. That, hey, I've had this happen, or hey, I want people to know more about my family. You'd be amazed at how many people really do want to learn more about your background, your
There
family.
you
They want to know because all of this adds up to the person they see right in front of them, which is you.
Yeah, and we're writing mission statements right now for their businesses that they come up with, and I was, they'd be shocked how many customers actually look up the mission statements of companies to see what they stand for, and that is something that seems very minimal, but it can be a very big deal.
Yes, be sure to when you're, and in particular, depending on what business you're in. I do also have some experience in women's entrepreneurship through my attending Cornell University's
Oh
e-program.
wow,
Yeah.
wow,
So, and I finished that up just before summer. So I
wow,
would
that's
say you definitely need to make sure that if you're a nonprofit, if you're wanting to do something special for the world and give back, have a mission statement. If you're a company that's for profit, have a mission statement, have a purpose, something that you think that you can do to make the world a better place. How
big
can you
time.
add something more rather than taking something out?
Yeah, and
Because
at the end
I
of the day,
mean,
yeah, at the end of the day, what can customers get out of it?
and do they know that you stand for something? Because sometimes that will make a big difference between whether they'll buy from you or someone else. So you might sell an item, you may be a maker making candles, or maybe some soap. Maybe you make soaps, maybe you make body wash. I don't lotion, because I know some people who are in that category, who are makers. If you are, it would be great to hear how you feel about organic organic living lifestyle. Do you want to reduce bad chemicals in your product? Are you thinking about the environment? Are you environmentalist in your eco-friendly in your scope? So make sure that you can dive deep into, how do I perceive my values about what I sell? Because you do need some values about what you sell. I mean, it definitely makes people take a note, because these days you have social media, which is different than what a lot of us grew up with. You have online shopping, and you can make a choice to buy at 11 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock in the evening, anywhere you are. You pretty much can pick up your phone and shop with someone. So if that's a given that we can shop anytime, think about how many interactions people are making with companies. You can't even really add up the amount of customer interactions that are made, Greg, on supply that on any level, because we're getting emails, advertising, marketing, just bombarded by it. So if you want to make yourself special, really think about your mission statement, your value system, will that sway someone's mind when they're thinking about you and the other company, you and
Yeah.
the other product? Because usually when we think about buying something, there are at least two options.
All right. Now,
Two
the
could be
last thing before
three,
I get
could
to
be
their
five.
questions, now the last thing before I get to their questions is also I asked you before we started recording if you were going to have a brick and mortar storefront for Gilded Hanger, and you said not right now. And I think that's another mistake that a lot of young business owners, especially again in retail, they see the social media world, they see the TikToks and the Instagrams, they hear the songs, and they think it's just let me open this up and it's super and it's super easy. But people can find a way to grow too fast. They can cost themselves a lot of money, and even though they might have a great idea and a great product, it could be um, something that could be detrimental at the very beginning. So you've chosen to be only online right now with a possibility of a storefront in the future.
Yes. I think that's the best choice sometimes to make is that what you're doing is basically, like I said, I started my website with $100.
Wow.
$100, Greg. So you
Wow.
tiptoe, yeah, what a deal. So you tiptoe in, you just stick your little toe in the water instead of throwing in all your capital. And even if you happen to be someone who is in when you graduate from high school in particular, if you happen to be someone who retains a good credit score, makes a good um, or builds your credit quickly, and you stay there and you look good to someone who might want to give you money, some investment capital. Well, what would you want to do if your investment capital, if you had the ability, if you hadn't really tested the waters, do you know if that was just going to go down the tubes? Because the money that you have could be so better used. You have expenses, even if you're just online. You have marketing,
Yeah.
advertising, you have inventory.
Yeah.
You just might have inventory. See, the way that I started my business, Mr. Paga, is that I started with no inventory. What I did initially was drop shipping.
Wow.
I went with a vendor, a couple of vendors. I mean, and I have some vendors in China. I have vendors elsewhere. I have vendors in the States, maybe out of Los Angeles, different vendors. And they specialize in drop shipping and wholesale. So you could carry inventory or you could opt to just not carry inventory on hand. So it depends on how you want to work your business. And being a drop shipper definitely decreases costs. And that's something we would be concerned with if you had very little. If you're bootstrapping, don't throw all your money into anything. Bootstrappers need to be careful about how fast you drain your cash flow. Some of us, you're just waiting for the next sale and the next sale and the next sale to even make sure that this is the right, do I have the right vendor?
Yeah.
Do I have the right
Well,
product?
yeah.
Do they like me? Do they like it? Do they like the style? Have I gotten enough good compliments and good comments on it? Have I gotten reviews on the product that I really know that I could start a business, a brick and mortar, and really have a clientele? You're building a clientele, a client base, but don't believe that other companies don't have your client that you want is already with another company.
There you go.
That's the
Well,
problem. So
I
you
do have
may
some
not
questions
want
from.
to buy that storefront just yet because
There
you
you
have
go.
to really figure it out slowly so that you understand, okay, I'm looking at my sales, I'm looking at my revenue, I'm looking at profit margin. I see something coming back to me. That is going to determine, don't, because your capital, you have other needs for. You have things you need to buy as a young person, family, relatives, car note, maybe. You may go to college. You might need to pay for your college tuition, um, tariffs. We're not even talking about the other things that come into play. You have to navigate the world of business. Some of us who are in business right now are a little nervous because we have to consider tariffs.
Yeah.
Who are we going to work with? Who will be our vendors? What are we going to pivot? Are we going to consider that, hey, we don't want to go into new, we want to go into pre-owned? That way I'm not beholding to the tariff situation in case I don't see that my profit will help me buy my inventory.
Awesome.
There's
Well,
just a lot to consider.
I do have some questions, and I want to get as many of these as I can because these are all excellent. These are some of the best questions I've had since I've been doing this. But
Awesome.
this first one is Shanaria Lewis. She's in 10th grade, and she asked, "What is the most challenging project you've ever worked on?"
Thank you, Shanaria. Yes, that's a hard question. Challenging. I've had a lot of challenging projects. Challenging, I would say definitely my website, marketing, and advertising is challenging. And the reason why it's challenging is because the landscape changes so much. Followers, is it your followers? Is it that your business's account followers is growing to the extent that you can afford all these different advertising spaces? And also considering that there are multiple platforms, how do you choose what you will spend on marketing?
Yeah.
Where will you spend your dollars? Because there are only so many dollars.
There you go.
There's so
And
many
only,
places.
yeah, and you want the right eyes to see it, so you have to know where they're going to be. That is a great point.
Yes.
Uh, I like this one. This is Jacayla Cross. She's in 10th grade, and she asked, "Where do you see your company and your brand being in the next 5 years?"
Hi, Jaquela. Thank you for your question. Um, I see my brand and my company actually making an impact in the next 5 years. I do. I think that month, every month, a couple months that I'm involved in entrepreneurship, I'm learning. I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm also ideating. I mean, I have a couple of pivots in mind already, Greg.
Awesome.
The wheels are turning, right? So the wheels are turning. I have ideas and in multiple ideas of multiple businesses. So I see the Gilded Hanger as being a parent company of several other companies.
Oh, okay.
Yes, a lifestyle brand, a lifestyle cultural travel blog. Um, I might add beauty products, beauty.
Wow.
I'm very interested in the beauty and skincare space. Have been
Oh,
for
cool.
some time, so I see myself um, growing from where I was, which was just starting a website and seeing what will happen. And do I like this vendor? Do I like that vendor? Are they selling cute stuff? Because remember, Mr. Pyga, he was having a conversation with me before we began filming about things being cute.
Yeah.
And ladies like cute stuff. We like cute
There you go.
stuff. Cute anything, cute.
Yeah, and like I said, we just briefly looked at some of the things, and they were making comments. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. So you're absolutely right. I have
Yeah.
time for two more. This is Chandra Black. She's in 10th grade, and she asked, "How did you come up with the name of your business?"
Oh, thank you for that question. I love that question. These days, when you can't figure it out, you chat GPT it. And I'm just bringing out, I'm bringing up the elephant in the room, because we are looking at artificial intelligence as being a human aid for us because people have really gotten behind and created um, how we build out AI. It's human built, human thought, human handed in its idea and how it began, but it is generated artificial intelligence. And so the marriage between humans and artificial intelligence will be with us from now on. The
Yep.
Gilded Hanger came from ChatGPT. I
Wow.
had some questions about what I really wanted the name of my company to be. And we were considering basically the logo, when you're creating that logo, and that memorable name. You want a memorable name. There are too many
Yeah.
people that are giving their businesses a name that they're just not maybe not going to remember. You won't stand out because there's something that sounds like you, or whatever that may be. And I wanted to stand out. I wanted to stand out. I also wanted people to know that this was a retail business, and it needed to have an element of retail in it. I thought, without being without being too vague.
All right, I got one more. This is Quenisha Kennedy. She's in 11th grade, and she has a kind of a two-part question. She asked, "Are there any entrepreneurs that have inspired you? And when you have faced challenges, how do you stay focused on your goals?"
Thank you for the question. Yes. Oddly enough, and I will say this because I'm so abundantly and phenomenally proud of my daughter. I have a family of entrepreneurs. My dad was an entrepreneur. He's no longer with me. I miss him terribly. He began sowing the seeds of entrepreneurship in me and made my respect for entrepreneurs exponential. But my daughter, who her name's Martika Brienne Jones. She's in Tampa, Florida, which is kind of like the South Silicon Valley. So
Yeah.
she's in tech, and her tech product is Boop,
Oh,
Boop, Boop AI. And she started that business about 4 years ago. I
that's
think it's
awesome.
been about 4 years. So I really look up to my daughter because she also too, her degree is not in a field that is what she ended up in. Her degree was in music performance,
Wow.
instrumental performance, trombone, fine
Wow.
arts. Yes.
That's
And
incredible.
so she ended up becoming an entrepreneur. 2019, she attended University of Tampa entrepreneurship program, master's degree program.
Wow.
In 2019, finished up in December that year, and went straight from ideation into a business.
Wow.
Boots on, hit the ground running, hasn't looked back since, and she is such an inspiration to many young ladies, many young men, and all types of people who are walking in an entrepreneurial path, because you can become something even if you didn't have a background in it. You need the interest level that it takes to say, if I succeed, if I fail, I'm still good. I love this enough to have put in the time, and whether or not I make $100 or $100,000, I love it just the same. And I truly do think that she gives other people the encouragement and gives them a story, her background, her story, and really makes them feel like they can do anything. I am
That's
very
awesome.
proud of my daughter, and she
That's
is one of the
incredible.
big reasons why I feel like even when I stumble, I know I have someone who'll try to pick me up.
That's incredible. Well, we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for joining us. But before we go, tell everybody Gilded uh is it the Gilded Hanger or gildedhanger.com?
It is thegildedhanger.com.
There we
And
go.
and in fact, thegildedhanger.com, and if they could even share their email addresses, or their parents' email addresses, or whatever have you, I would love that you visit the site. It will be a work in progress because I'm changing from what I have there now to fall winter merchandise. And also, you'll also find that there'll be some other additions, including pre-owned, and I do plan on getting involved in menswear.
Oh,
I
cool.
do, Greg, yes. So do come to my site for men's, and also you'll find shoes, accessories, and potentially consignment.
Love it. Well, again, we thank you so much for joining us. My friend Stephanie McMechan, owner of the Gilded Hanger. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I talk to you
Have a great
soon.
day.